Welcome to episode 125 of Bats and Balls vodcast, I suppose. The producer's on death row, so right now it's just me and Big Zacko out in the sticks. I thought we'd check out the farm and do a bit of a video show. So we'll put this on YouTube and we'll probably put it up as a podcast if it sounds any good as well. So, go Big Zacko, how you going?
Yeah, g'day mate, how you going?
Pretty good. Massive week of sport. Not so much here in Australia, but definitely in America right now. It's really kicking off. Got the basketball started today. NFL's heating up. You're killing it in the tipping comp.
Oh, of course I am. But no, there is something happening in sport in Australia. The Socceroos.
Yeah, well, they snuck through against Syria. We apologised for Ange last week, and look, seems like the knockout against Honduras will be his last games for Australia.
I think that's a bit of a thing, though. He's making out that it's all about the negative media in Australia. But the guy's been offered $3.8 million or something to go coach in China. It sounds like he's making an excuse to go get $3.8 million. Why don't you just come out and say, mate, look, I'm going to go get some good money. Everyone's entitled to it. The Socceroos is probably a bit better off without him. They don't play with enough depth. They don't play with enough quality ball into the goal area anyway. So we do need to look at some sort of change there for the Socceroos if they want to qualify and then do anything in the World Cup.
Yeah, Honduras is going to be a hard out. I think we can get them, especially with the second leg being at home and being in Sydney, not at the MCG, which is the graveyard for Australian football. So I think we can win, but I think once we get to the World Cup, probably have to go looking for a world-class coach. And look, if he can get $3.8 million in China, I'd be taking the money as well.
Yeah,
that's the best offer he's going to get. So
I think so. I mean, he's not a bad coach, but I think that clearly there are better options out there.
Yeah, I think it's probably run its course too. Yeah. Anyway, what are we going to get into? NFL?
Well, let's have a talk about Week 6 of the NFL.
Yeah.
It was a big week in the NFL, really. Philadelphia started us off on Friday morning Australian time, Thursday night football there. They beat Carolina to move to 5-1. Philadelphia, two very strong teams, a potential NFC Championship clash. So Philly got the wood on them there. That gives them a big chance of home field. Maybe a telling game in the long run.
Yep.
Miami, after being down 17-0 and for weeks having no offense and nothing. I think the statistic came out that Carson Palmer had thrown 19 attempts for 33 yards leading into the fourth quarter of the game the week before, and really didn't do much in that game either. To come back and beat Atlanta 20-17. Chicago.
Jay Cutler, obviously. You said Carson Palmer, but Jay Cutler, yeah. That's cool.
Chicago.
Well, the thing about that game as well, Atlanta giving up another start. I know every time they give up a start now, it's going to be referred to the Super Bowl.
Well, and that's coming up this week. That's the big clash this week. So, what are they going to do?
It's becoming an epidemic, Zach.
Yeah. People are talking about Miami being the worst 3-2 team in football in history. I don't know about that. I think you've got to give some serious plaudits to their defense, that being the case. Obviously, Chicago 27-24 over Baltimore in overtime. Chicago beat them in overtime. Big talk about Trubisky there as the starting quarterback.
I didn't see much of the game, but I did see one play where he was under pressure and he got turned around and then he just flung a ball off balance and it was the perfect pass and they got a first down. And it looks like he got a bit of poise about him.
Yeah, but, let's be honest. In the first half, they had 21 rushing attempts and 6 pass attempts. So they basically fed off the rush, and they ended up with about 54 rushing attempts to 19 pass attempts.
They've got
the game.
Decent run option at the moment, though.
Well, they got Jordan Howard, and they got Jeremy. I think Langford too, but they got Jordan Howard.
Howard's been going pretty well, and it's looking after your rookie quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what you should do. That's good. Houston did the job on Cleveland, who are looking worse than they were last year. Some of the big talking points from this week, though, Green Bay Packers looked like Super Bowl bound in the first 4 minutes of the game. Aaron Rodgers took a hit. Now, did you see the hit? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. It didn't look like it looked like just a football hit.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, it was just a tackle. He landed on his hello dog. He landed on his shoulder, but it didn't look any harder than any other tackle he's taken in his career.
No, it's just one. I think it was just one of those things. I mean, they talk about it being a bit late, and he did sort of drive his shoulder in a bit, but at the same time, I mean, you're a split second choice on those sort of things as a defender, and if Rogers pump fakes, you're well entitled to make that hit.
Yeah.
So the fact that he threw the ball, I think they talk about it being a really bad thing. I'm not sure it was. I think it was quite innocuous in the end, and Rogers just happened to break his collarbone, so out for the year, as it looks like.
Is there any chance if they wind up getting a decent record and maybe sneaking into the playoffs that he comes back and plays?
I think it comes down to how it heals, mate. It's a collarbone. It's a bone. It's does it heal, and then what sort of damage was done? But Minnesota look good anyway. They're looking okay with Case Keenum. They're out the number one quarterback. They're out the number one running back. They're out the number one wide receiver in that game. And still look pretty good against a defense that has been pretty good so far this year.
Yep.
So no knocks on Minnesota. Obviously, New Orleans, couple of defensive touchdowns, took care of Detroit. Other big talking point from this week, the New England Patriots New York Jets game.
I thought you were going to talk about the Giants. Aren't they a talking point?
Yeah, but we're
we're
running through it, mate. We're running through it. We're running through the ball. Don't worry, we'll get to the Giants.
Austin Severian Jenkins, talk about the fumble.
All right. So talk about the fumble.
Yeah.
It's a fumble. It's plain and simple. There's been a lot of talk about this. There's a lot of talk in the media and stuff. Look, it's by rule, it's a fumble.
Yeah. They've
gone to the video review. It is clear as day. It is clear as day the separation. And I'll half demonstrate it seeing we're doing video.
Yeah, on the video, show us. So he's got the ball.
He had the ball in his right hand. It's been knocked out as part of the tackle.
Yep.
There is clear separation. The ball is live. He'd lost it in his right hand. And that's at about the 1.5, 2 yard line. As he's gone to ground, he's attempted to re-grasp the ball. With his right hand, mind you. As the ball's gone out of view and he's rolled over and come back up out of bounds in the end goal, the ball's in his left hand. Now, by rule, once there's a clear fumble, which is there, it's clear he's lost the ball, he then has to regain possession when he goes to ground. He hasn't done that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no clear evidence of it. And at the end of the day, I don't think he really did because it's into his right hand and he's brought it up in his left hand when he's come up off rolling. And by then he's already rolled over the pylon at the sideline.
Yeah.
To me, it's clear cut.
He's clearly out of bounds. Now, what happens if that happens 1 yard inside the field of play? It's out of bounds at the 1 yard line,
and
right?
And they get the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? And there's a bit of talk about that too, being what archaic rule being a touchback. They should no. The defender's done a fantastic job to knock that ball out.
Yeah.
There has to be a reward as well for the defence. The ball's gone out in bounds. If it was rugby league and there's a play at the ball, and it goes dead in goal, if it's off the attacking side, it's the defence gets the ball.
Yeah.
Am I right?
No, fair enough.
22 restart.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm with you. And clear loss of ball, and he's in the end goal.
So I'm good with that. They can talk about it all they like. At the end of the day, if it wasn't the New England Patriots and New York Jets, this probably wouldn't even be half a talking point. San Francisco still 0-6.
Are they the best 0-6 side in history? They've been on the road 3 weeks. 3 weeks in a row. They've had to go on the road, and they've lost by 3, 2, and 3 or something.
The last 5 losses: 3-2, 3-3-2.
Yeah.
I've tipped them the last 4 weeks, so I obviously don't think they're that bad. So yeah, and you wouldn't find many 0-6 sides if you compare them to other 0-6 sides. If you compared them to some of the other sides in this league right now, you probably wouldn't say they deserve to be 0-6. But what to be said about being 0-6, there's obviously a reason for it. They started the game again with Brian Hoyer. He's been a problem. I've already said this on the show. He's been a problem in the first 5 games. They've benched him and brought in CJ Beathard, the rookie.
Yep.
He looked pretty nice. Just doing but that's he's come in looking pretty good. Moved the ball around a bit and got them back into the game. We'll see where they go from here with him.
Mm-hmm. Tampa and Arizona.
Arizona all day.
Yeah.
All day. Adrian Peterson, what a trade.
It's incredible. Him and Larry Fitz. They were the offense.
I tell you, Bruce Arians, he said about it. They asked him about the game. He said, "You know what? I can coach old guys. Old guys are my sort of guys."
Yeah.
So All Day and Larry Fitz and Carson Palmer all put it together and give Tampa Bay a 38-33 defeat. The Rams did the job on Jacksonville.
Yeah, in the battle of the defenses.
This game started with a 103-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Then followed that with a 75-yard Leonard Fournette touchdown.
Yep.
And then it turned into a slugfest for the defenses, and the Rams obviously held on. One thing's clear: if Jacksonville fall behind, Blake Bortles isn't going to save them.
Yep. Yeah, and at that point you can't just run the ball all day because they will just stack the box and you can't get out of it. But yeah, the Rams 4-2, leading the division.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Seattle had the bye, so that plays into it a little bit. But Seattle have to win again to get the 4-2 themselves, sitting on 3-2. The other big game of the week, the previously undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've copped a bit of flack. They've copped a bit of flack this season over some of their performances, notably being beat by Chicago. Chicago are now 2-0 against the AFC North. Interesting. But yeah, Pittsburgh travelled into Kansas City and come out the victors.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Fed Le'Veon Bell. He rushed for, I don't know how many attempts.
30-something attempts for 175 odd yards. I mean, this is a game, they said, better to be lucky than good. It was a game where the game-winning touchdown was a tipped ball that Antonio Brown caught and then ran another 30, 40 yards to score.
Yeah.
But
they had to be in that position though, and I watched a bit of this game, and James Harrison had a big sack in the fourth quarter.
What was he? 2 months younger than you?
He's older than me.
2 months older than you.
Yeah, he's 39.
Yeah, so he's younger than me.
But he's sacking NFL quarterbacks, and he's out there and he's putting it out. It's good on him.
But on that Antonio Brown tip, let's have a look at it. This is Antonio Brown. One is I think undisputed number one wide receiver in the game.
It should have been an interception.
Yeah, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why they're defensive backs and not wide receivers.
Of course, yes.
The reason that most guys that become defensive backs, they become that because they can't catch.
They don't have hands. That's right. Yeah.
So they're wide receivers that can't catch. They become defensive backs.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And you know what? Not every wide receiver can make that catch. You have to be. You have to be really spot on. You have to be following the game, and you have to be into it the whole way.
It was a slips catch. It was a deflection. He wasn't a million miles away from it when it happened. So
but it was
he had to have good reflexes.
You had to be right there to do it, and you have to be good.
Yeah.
And he was both of those things. And to be fair, Pittsburgh are in front the whole way anyway.
Yeah.
G'day, Buggy.
Hey, get down, dog.
Buggy. Yeah, good boy.
Down. The joys of working with animals at the farm, eh? All right.
That's one for the outtakes.
Now, where are we?
We'll just keep running.
Yeah, keep going.
Let's keep running. So, obviously, the LA Chargers, game-winning field goal to beat Oakland.
Yep.
Phillip Rivers just drive down the field. Interesting. Nick Novak kicked the game winner. Thank goodness. They've had some troubles with their kickers there in LA.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Chargers, every one of their games comes down to a drive at the end of the game. They just keep it close. I think their defense is well underrated, and they look good. The game you want to talk about this weekend?
Come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
How did the Giants?
Hang on. So Tennessee 36,
no,
Indianapolis 27, 22. No, you don't want to talk about that one. You want to talk about the New York Football Giants.
The Giants were 0-5. They went into Denver, who were sitting on 3-1 and looked like the best team in the AFC West, which could be the strongest, at least at the top, the strongest division in football. Mm-hmm. The Giants went into Denver and pulled their pants down.
No Odell Beckham Jr., no Brendan Marshall.
No Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
No problems.
No Paul Perkins.
Yeah.
Orleans Starkway only knocks out 117 yards off 21 carries. Evan Ingram, rookie tight end, all of a sudden.
Well, he became a wide receiver.
5 catches. Well, they talk about him being a hybrid anyway. 5 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. Eli Manning was good. Eli, not bad. Eli. But the big talking point though was the New York Giants defense.
The defense finally, stood up and made himself counted. Especially the secondary got a couple of interceptions.
Well, Janoris Jenkins took one for a touchdown to ice the game.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was at the end of the first half. To put them, we're pretty iced the game because Denver only scored 10 points.
Yeah.
3 turnovers for Denver. Simeon got hurt but came back. Worrying signs there, though. Denver in their last 3 games, 16, 16, 10 offensive points. Bit of a concern. But yeah, New York Football Giants. Who would have thought? Thunk it.
Yeah, I know. And now, they're not going to make the playoffs, so now they're just going to accrue their chances of the top 2 picks. So
maybe not. Let's not get too carried away with it.
Yeah.
And of course, the Tennessee Titans 36, the Indianapolis Colts 22.
Good bounce back for Tennessee.
Well, not really. It was a game to come down to the last minute and really the last 2 plays of the game. Indianapolis were driving for the win. It was only 27-22.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 5 points in it. Indianapolis were driving. They're down to the Tennessee 22 with less than 2 minutes to go, and they botched it. A couple of penalties, couple of bad plays, and pushed them sort of back a bit. And in the end, Tennessee got the ball back on downs and got a late touchdown to Derrick Henry when the game was already over. Really, just Indianapolis trying to push to get that fumble and get the ball back. And he went 72 yards for the score. So, But they're 3-3. The Titans in a very weak division where 3-3 is actually the par. So 3 teams on 3-3, and they travel to Cleveland this week. So every chance of them going to 4-3 and sort of kicking on.
Yep.
How'd you fare in the tipping this week, Pie?
Not the best. Certainly not as good as you. I don't have the ladder in front of me, but I'm sure you've got it somewhere.
Funnily enough, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Pies, you got 5.
Yeah, okay. 5 out of 14 is not great. Yeah.
We're a couple of bookends right now.
Yeah, right.
We're a couple
That's
of
good.
bookends.
Well, if I'm at the bottom, what are you at the top?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you got 5.
Yeah.
I got 10 out of 14 games.
10 from 14 is a very good strike
I had
rate.
a margin of 0, just quietly.
Yeah. Well, mine was 2, so I wasn't far off.
So I tipped Philadelphia to win by 5, so I was going good.
Mm-hmm.
The producers followed me into the first couple of games of that week, if you recall.
Yep.
So he also had a margin of 0 and tipped 7. The other bats and balls expert, Ken Beauty, tipped 8.
Ken Beauty, 8. Well, that's good. Yeah, good for him.
But I could tell you my 10 out of 14 was 9th out of 10,378
on ESPN Footy Tips. Is that right?
ESPN Footy Tips.
Yeah, okay.
9th.
Where are you standing overall?
266.
Right, that's not bad. Out of 10,000, good stuff.
So,
I did notice you're only 3 tips outside the top 21.
Yeah, I'm only 5 off the top 10. The leader in that competition's got 63. So we kick on. It's only
well-named team. Mild Concussions is his name, the tipster. So good on him.
Now, the only 4 games I got wrong, New York Giants.
Well, no one tipped that.
Nobody in our league tipped it, and I don't think anybody in the NFL community tipped that.
How could you?
Obviously, the Chicago Bears I got wrong. I tipped Baltimore,
Yep.
and very few people, and certainly nobody in our league tipped that, and not many people would have tipped that overall. I tipped Detroit and I tipped San Francisco, who both got beat. Detroit probably being, but to be fair, Detroit only lost by 14 points, and
they had been playing well. There's always a case that New Orleans defense is going to give up points.
Gave up 2 defensive touchdowns, so that always cruels every game. And San Francisco 24, Washington 26. They were right in the hunt, San Francisco, right at the death, and just couldn't get the job done.
That would have been a great get.
Yeah. This week's tips.
All right, let's tip.
So this is the games for this week, guys. I've got them here for you.
Okay. Home teams on the left, are we?
Home teams on the left.
Oakland and Kansas City.
Oakland and Kansas City. I've toed and froed on this one. I've got a few games I'm pretty sure on, and there's a couple of games I'm tossing up. You might see I've actually got Oakland ticked there, but I'm jumping fence already. I'm going with Kansas City.
Oh, I was going to get one up on you there because I'm going Kansas City. I think they bounce back. I don't know that Oakland are that good. They're, 2-4 now?
Well, Oakland are really struggling. Yeah, they're really struggling.
They need it. Derek Carr came back this week. He looked okay, but look, I think Kansas City will bounce back in that game.
Yeah, think so.
Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati coming off the bye. Pittsburgh, Heinz Field, off the back of the winning KC. Their defence looks very nice.
Yep.
I like Pittsburgh.
Good win, Pittsburgh. I'm going to go for them. Minnesota and Baltimore.
Yeah, Minnesota are the class team, I think, in that game. Baltimore, I think, are a bit of a myth.
I think Minnesota will be buoyed by the Rodgers. It's funny. The Rodgers injury might just spur Minnesota on just a little bit more. They're the favourites to win the division now. I think this is the game they got to win.
Well, look, at the end of the day, I think the Minnesota defense is the number one defense in the league by lengths.
Yeah.
By lengths. Everson Griffin, even in that game, he's just all over it. Harrison Smith, their defensive back, he's all pro. And Anthony Barr, great linebacker. So they just got to cross the park.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just dominate teams defensively. And you know what? Case Keenum is no chump as a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
He goes pretty good. He's actually number 5 in the league at the moment for QBR. So he's going good.
Yeah.
They're going good.
Green Bay and New Orleans. No Rodgers.
Don't believe the hype. Green Bay win this game.
Okay. I think they can win it with their defense, and they'll probably run it a bit more.
I don't think it was that. Brett Hundley's been 4 years in that system now. 3 years in the system. He had big, he had a lot of people looking at him on draft day, and the Packers took him, and he's a good part of that system. Don't believe all this stuff about them running the ball on 3rd and 13 the other day against Minnesota when they were already down by 13 late in the game. It's this is a guy. He's a pretty decent quarterback. They had no offensive lineman that game. Bakhtiari was out. Who's there? Bakhtiari and their other both tackles were out, and so was their guard that's been playing tackle. So those 3 guys back, he's going to look better, Hundley.
Okay. So Rodgers was the backup for Favre. There's a chance that Hundley could either be the next Aaron Rodgers or it could be the next Matt Flynn.
He doesn't have to. He might not be ever. He's just a good, solid guy. They've got a decent side. Jordy Nelson goes all right. Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams. There's a pretty good wide receiver core.
Sure. Right. I'm going to go Green Bay. I'll go Green Bay. All right. Miami and New York Jets.
Yeah. Miami, as bad as they are, I think defensively they're one of the best in the league, and I think the Jets don't have anything. Miami.
All right. I think the Jets will bounce back. They haven't been playing bad football. They pushed New England, who are probably going to win their division and going to go relatively deep in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Jets away at Miami. Chicago and Carolina.
Oh, this is my first away team victory. Carolina, they're just classes above. Even with Luke Kuechly out, I just think defensively they're going to dominate Mitch Trubisky. This will be his 3rd start now. This is where they start to get a bit of game film. They've had a bit of time to prep for him. The Carolina coaches have been prepping for Trubisky now for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Once they found out he was likely to be starting, they would have seen the game film and they'll know. And I think Carolina will sort them out.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go Carolina. LA Rams and Arizona.
Well,
big divisional game.
The producers Rams 4-2. This is the first time the Rams have been 4-2 since 2006.
Okay.
Probably the first time they've been relevant since 2006.
They've been playing like a 4-2 team. They've been all right.
And this is a team that's the number 5 offense at the moment in the league. So they're going all right.
And probably came into the season more known for their defense than their offense.
Todd Gurley's looking really nice. But that being said, Arizona are a different class of team with Adrian Peterson running back. I like Arizona in this game. I like them defensively. I think the Arizona defense will cause some problems for Goff, Gurley, and Co.
I'm going to go the Rams. Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay could be without Jameis Winston. If that's the case, definitely the Buffalo. The Bills are sneaky good.
Yeah. You going to go the Bills?
I'm going the Bills.
I'm going to go the Bills too. I think I would read nothing into that Tampa-Arizona game. I think it was a game between 2 mediocre at best teams.
Yeah. I'd agree with you. I think what you should do is follow me for most of these tips.
I'm going to go with Buffalo. Indianapolis and Jacksonville.
This is a sneaky hard game. I think this is a sneaky hard game. The Jacksonville defense has looked unbelievable this year, but I think Indianapolis are starting to get a little bit going with Jacoby Brissett, and if they can get a little bit going on at home, it is a divisional game. Um, I'm going Indianapolis.
I'm a Jacksonville believer. Leonard Fournette, biggest fan. I'm going to go Jacksonville, Cleveland, and your Tennessee Titans.
Titans were a little bit underwhelming against Indianapolis, but they should beat the worst team in football.
They are the worst team in football. I'm going to go Tennessee, San Francisco, and Dallas.
San Francisco 3-2, 3-3-2. They're not going to lose another one like that. Dallas are okay, but I'm sticking with San Francisco. They have to win. They'll win at home. This is at home.
Home game, and they've been playing a lot of tight games. And you know who I want to be on in a tight game? Anyone playing against Dallas in a tight game, because I don't know what it is, but they're the worst in the league for clock management and tight
They've
plays.
always had problems.
Jason Garrett, he's got issues.
He's got issues. And look, CJ Beathard, rookie, third round.
Is he getting a start this week?
He's starting. That's it. He'll be in for the rest of the year. So he's going to have 10. You're going to have 10 games with CJ Beathard to finish off the season for San Francisco. He looked really nice last week. His father Bobby Beathard is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but he's got football in his blood.
So he's a footballing boy.
Yeah. No, I'll go San Francisco as well. The New York Football Giants and Seattle.
You're not going to get a repeat. The Legion of Boom just go boom on Eli Manning, and you're going to lock that one in.
The problem
coming off the bye too. Seattle.
The problem playing Seattle is that Seattle have a secondary that can just go one-on-one with basically second string receivers, and then they can stack the box. And New York won't be able to move the ball. I'll go Seattle away. Yep. LA Chargers and Denver.
Another sneaky good game, this one. The LA Chargers, they're 2-4. They're a bit boring, but they're a veteran side that just keeps things rolling on. But Denver have to bounce back against after being beaten by the Giants. They're going to cop a pasting this week, and they're going to head into LA. And you know what? They really need to win it, because you know what they got coming up?
What?
Kansas City.
Yeah.
At Kansas City, they've got to travel to New England, and they've got another game against another top 5 NFC side.
Right. I haven't looked into the stats, but I think the Chargers have a good record against Denver. I'm going to go the Chargers. New England and Atlanta, a rematch of the Super Bowl.
This won't be a rematch of the Super Bowl, in that Atlanta will never be in front here.
New England are nowhere near as good as they were last year, though.
Yeah, never Atlanta.
Yeah.
Vic Beasley's back. He was back this week, just gone. So they were a little bit better. But, no, I like New England at home. It's very hard to go into Foxborough and win. And Atlanta are going a lot.
Well, hang on. They've lost 2 already at home this year.
Yeah, that's an out-of-the-box thing, isn't it?
And I think their biggest issue, the Patriots' biggest issue, is their defense. I think the Jets couldn't capitalise on it.
Well, the Jets scored 17 points on them. That shows how bad the defense probably is.
I'm going to go Atlanta away.
Okay, you can take that.
Yep. And Monday Night Football, Philadelphia and Washington, divisional game. 2 teams that hate each other, fans that hate each other. They're just down the road.
Yeah, but Philadelphia are just too good. Carson Wentz looks good.
Washington will show up because they do in these NFC East games, but Philadelphia are way too good.
And of course, Detroit and Houston have the bye.
Yep.
And that wraps up the NFL tipping for this week and the NFL games for this week.
Yep.
I'm not sure what games are the TV games. I could bet there'll be a NFC East game though, because on 7 Mate every week.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants and Seattle is a late game. That's probably going to be the late game on 7 Mate, I reckon.
I reckon it will be Giants Seattle. So you get to watch the New York Football Giants on Mate.
Yep.
And obviously New England Patriots Atlanta. That's the Sunday night game. That's actually the late game. So New England Patriots Atlanta will be one of the games.
Oh, the Giants will be the game before that.
The Giants will be the game before the early game.
The 4:30 or 4:15.
The early game might be. The
wouldn't be surprised. Green Bay and New Orleans, I reckon,
or Pittsburgh Cincinnati. One of those two. As a likelihood.
But that's on 7 Mate. And if you've got Fox, get onto Red Zone. I like watching the Red Zone until a until most of the games are decided. Although last week, me and you in the second set of games, there was 4 games going on.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about that?
We had all 4 games. We had tipped opposite each other, and I believe you got all 4 up.
I was 4-0.
Yeah.
In those 4 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that,
Anyway, that's the NFL.
That's
Look, I was going to do a big thing on the NBA, but we won't bother doing the video and all that. We'll say there was 2 cracking games today, though. Cleveland and Boston was the first game, and Cleveland did Boston by 3 points, but it was a really good game. They needed a couple of baskets at the end to ice it. So that was a really good game. And the other game, which was an absolute cracker, Golden State and Houston. And Houston beat Golden State. Golden State had the winner on the buzzer. Kevin Durant shot it and missed by about 0.1 seconds of getting it off his fingertips. And that would have won the game. Houston were behind for the entire game. They led 2-0, then they were behind the entire game and scored right at the death to win it. And, really entertaining game. Houston, they're going to be just fine with Chris Paul and James Harden. Looks like James Harden's playing the point and Chris Paul's playing off the ball a lot. But yeah, they're going to be a really good team. They're going to be really hard to beat, Houston. And going into Golden State, it's not easy to do.
No.
Second straight year that team has turned up at the Golden State opening night and beaten them. San Antonio did it last year on opening night, and Golden State finished.
Two serious teams, though.
Yeah, obviously. They start with good teams. But yeah, Golden State were 0-1 to start the last 2 seasons. There you go.
Very good.
So, but I'm really looking forward to the basketball. And shocking news for Gordon Hayward, who broken and dislocated ankle, it looks like, and he's gone for the season. But
on good news, though, injury front, Teddy Bridgewater has actually given the okay to practice.
Is that right?
For the Minnesota Vikings. So they've got 3 weeks now to actually get him to practice and activate him into the roster.
So what's the cutoff for him to be on the roster for the rest of the season?
21 days.
Okay.
21 days now they've got for him to start practicing and be on the roster.
Yeah.
And activate him. Otherwise, he's out for the year.
Okay.
But interesting little thing though, if he doesn't play, then his contract, although they've voided the last year of his contract becomes valid for next year as well.
Okay.
So he won't become a free agent if they don't play him.
Right.
And even if they do play him, he'll become a free agent, but I think that everything will be sweet. How about a quick wrap-up on the Bats and Balls Cup?
Quickly, yes.
A quick little wrap-up on that.
Yeah, well, I do want to talk about one game in particular. The Lone Rangers went up against Team Smith, and he still hasn't changed his name. We've got Ben at one end of the spectrum who changes his name every week, and we've got Team Smith who hasn't changed it since he drafted his team.
He hasn't done anything since he's drafted his team.
No.
I'm not sure he's changed his lineup.
I think he changes his lineup. He's actually playing, and he's trying to win. I mean, he was 4-0.
He hasn't changed his lineup yet because he played Mariota last week.
Okay.
He did because he went for he changed Gronkowski last week when he was hurt, and he took who was the tight end that they got from Dwight Clark from not Dwight Clark from Indianapolis.
Who's this?
New England.
I don't know.
It wasn't Dwight Clark. Dwight Clark said the man who took the catch.
Don't know.
But they took him.
Yeah.
He got the replacement tight end for Gronkowski.
Okay.
Finished with 0 for 0 for 0. That was fun. That was great. I like that. Team Smith has lost 2 on the trot, 3-2. Yes.
4-2, isn't he?
4-2.
He started 4-0 and now he's 4-2.
4-2.
Yeah.
4-2. Sorry.
Yeah. And I got the Lone Rangers back up to 3-3 after beating Smith's team.
Yeah. So you're on a 1-game winning streak. Well done. Some big games. Ramsey Street Robinson lost to the Kneecaps. 102.7. Ramsey Street Robinson only 79.
Yep.
Big Zacko's Bullies 132 points in a non-PPR league on the back of picking up Adrian Peterson off the waiver wire. You're all way too slow for that.
Yeah.
25.4 points. And Melvin Gordon is doing what Melvin Gordon does for 27. And also my system of streaming defences. I picked up the Texans defence this week for 25 points.
Nice.
Good luck to you all.
Good get.
Gave Hunter a towel up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hunter is now living in London, so let's not be too quick to smash Hunter.
No. Well, he's 0-5 and he's just terrible.
Yeah.
But mate, just because he's living in London doesn't mean he's not doing it.
Yeah.
He's made some efforts. And Cookie,
How'd
the
Cookie go?
bats and balls. Apparently, they're now the bats and balls champs.
Oh, okay. Well, he's jumping the gun there, but anyway.
Knocked off though.
Yeah.
Mark Pascoe and the Western Suburbs Magpies, 103.5 to 64.5. So he's actually got the second best score of the round behind me.
Yeah.
I
will say about Mark, though. Mark had a massive win this week, and congratulations to Mark. Mark won first place at the Australian Amateur Brewing Championships for his Flanders Red, which is a CR Red Ale. So congratulations, Mark. Top stuff. And anyone out there looking for some good craft beer, get on to Flipside Brewing Company.
And here we are, brought to you by the Fighting Owl tonight, are we?
Fighting Owl, yeah. We've just got a blonde ale we're drinking tonight. But if Flipside want to advertise with us, we're more than happy to have them on board. Flipside Brewing Company.
Yeah, so, mate, we'll...
that it?
We'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up. Back in the studio next week. Hopefully we're not at a funeral next week. Hopefully the producer's back on deck.
Producers, he's been a bit crook, so hopefully he can be fighting fit for next week. Yeah. All right.
And thanks to our rookie producer.
I'll tell you what, he might be the producer soon if he keeps this up.
He's done a good job.
Yeah.
Have you been distracted by his attire?
No, he's wearing his West Tigers gear, and I like it. He's come to a sports podcast dressed right, so good on him.
All right. Let's
all right,
wrap
mate.
up.
All right, thanks. And thanks for having us out at the farm, Big Zacko, and we'll do it again soon.
And as always, we apologise for...
The producer.